He's off and running, this guy. He says, how many years do you give it for this rebuild to flesh out and get us back to the playoffs? I think, Zach, that fans are going to see tangible results within 2 or 3 years of Bo Nix. That could be this year. It's a tough schedule, but the NFL's tough, I would say 2 or 3 years. But Sam touched on this when he was on just a few minutes ago, and that is, even though I think, Zach, sometimes the national folk make too much of or exaggerate or are a little hyperbolic when it comes to some of the imperfections of the Broncos roster, they do have some areas that are lackluster. And, the rush linebacker core took a hit, as we learned today, in Drew Sanders. And so, it's going to take a couple of drafts to fully flush out those spots, to use your word there, Nick. But I think 2 or 3 years, you're going to see some results.
I mean, if you think about it, the Broncos went 8-9 in Peyton's first year, and he was only on the job a few months, Chad. He had no time to, get his culture in the building. He was still splitting drafting and scouting and free agency duties with George Payton. It wasn't Sean Payton's team. They still went 8-9. They won a bunch of games on the road, and it, for a period, looked like a contender. I don't see why. This question all depends on if Bo Nix is the franchise quarterback. If they hit on him and he's the guy, they could be in contention this year, like you were talking about, another CJ Stroud. At worst, if he's the guy, they will compete in 2025. And the good thing is, if you have a 25, 26-year-old franchise quarterback on a rookie contract, you're competing not just for 1 year, but for many years in a row. A decade of sustained, tangible competition, Chad. The Broncos haven't seen that since Peyton Manning.